Friends, I thought it would be fun to cover my current favorite brown lipsticks, ranging from low to high pricing, in different finishes, from various brands. And my apologies for sounding under the weather. I am recovering from a cold or whatever it was. So my voice isn't the best. It's giving a low baritone sexy voice. But we're gonna get through it because I wanna go over these lipsticks. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I am craving autumn, and I'm thinking of doing like an autumn beauty series where I zero in on these separate topics, this one being about brown lipsticks and maybe about autumn inspired palettes, autumn inspired overall look. Let me know if you have any ideas down below to contribute to this ever growing autumn playlist. I would love to know, but we're gonna kick it off with these lipsticks for sure. And if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. I love to review beauty, makeup tutorials. I'm also a lifestyle coach. So if any of that interests you, maybe stay to the end and like this video by clicking the thumbs up. And for shade reference, I sit on the medium tan part of the spectrum with a neutral undertone, and just want to make note of that because if you see the shade and then arrive to a conclusion, well, maybe it will look the same on me, but if you have a different undertone, the color could look vastly different on you. So even though you might be medium tan as well, but if you're more golden or warm or more peachy, olive, just so that you know, because if you decide to buy any of these lipsticks, I do have my affiliate links down below in the description box, so I thank you in advance for considering you purchase one and then it doesn't turn out the same as you saw on me originally. I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer. Let's kick off the list with the Kulfi Lassi Lips Staining Lip Oil in Tamarind. It is a mauve medium brown with a lightweight staining of a consistency. It retails for $24, and one of my most favorite lip products that I encountered last year. I actually have 3 shades from the Kulfi lip oil lineup, and I enjoy just that cushiony, silky texture upon application. The way the doe foot is designed, it's quite thin and flexible, so it makes it easy to apply this formula on the lips, makes it easy to maneuver so that you don't go outside the lines, is comfortable to wear, and as the shine dies down as well as the coloring, what's left behind is a lovely stain. So if you like those products that are not heavy on the coloring so much, just enough, almost like a watercolor effect on the lip with shine initially, but you like the fact that as it wears, you still have some color left behind without the lips feeling dry. That was a standout trait that I noticed immediately when I tried the Kulfi lip oil stain for the first time, was when the product kind of wore over a few hours, my lips didn't feel dry. They just kind of felt like soft and cushiony, but it was a pleasure to reapply the product again. And I'm happy to have it on this list because not only the color Tamarind, as you saw, is just beautiful. The mauve browns get me because they're so grungy in feel. They have an extra element of earthiness that I think is different from a standard neutral brown and a red brown, all of which I have on this list. But I'm a sucker for the mauve brown because it's just a little different, but a pleasure to wear, and again adds really nice depth of color to the overall look. Next we have the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lip Velvet in Cool Brown, a deep taupe brown with a velvety matte finish, retails for $28. By far one of my most favorite browns out of my entire collection. When a brown comes, especially if it's cool in the undertone and delivered in a soft matte finish, telling you 90s all the way. When you have the matte and the dark brown together, you're in that era, whether you want to be or not. But the texture is sublime, a far departure from what ABH used to develop with liquid lipsticks. No longer do we have cement feeling lips when applied, right? It's a moussey soft texture that's easy to apply, but just a pleasure to wear. It has more of a softening effect on the lip, and it doesn't feel tight or it's like it's wrapped around the lip. It's a pleasant experience to wear, but the color itself, especially in this finish, it's just perfect. I love cool brown and have for a long time. I had the pleasure of trying this product, I think, upon my request when I worked with Beautylish on one of their gift card event videos. I requested the shade and immediately did not regret my decision. I love the color still to this day. And again, the formula for ABH, for this being a liquid, technically like a cream liquid formula for lip, outstanding, because it's not harsh on the lips. It doesn't feel heavy or doesn't feel dry. It has like a light whipped velvety moussey texture about it that, again, is a pleasure to wear, and the color, it's just sublime. Next, we have my recent favorite, the Soshe Beauty Ceramide Lip Silk in Rewind, and they're currently running 20% off site-wide. Just so you know, I ordered a few refills and a blurring pillow blush refill as well. A true chocolate brown, and these are refillable. So if you buy the entire component, it'll be $28. Just the refill retails for $20. This is more of like a hybrid product. So Soshe is all about infusing a skincare into their products, and the Ceramide Lip Silk does feel almost like a treatment lipstick. It doesn't have full-blown color payoff as other lipsticks I have on this list do, but it's a nice delivery of color, especially with something like Rewind. If you found that delivered any satin in a matte, it might be too much, right? If you don't want it to look like this, the Ceramide Lip Silk is a little more in between. It's a little more intermediate delivery of color. It still has lovely shine, and much like the Kulfi lip oil, actually, it dries down to a lovely stain. So you'll still have that coloring on the lips without the same color richness that initially was there when first applied. It might not be as shiny, but it's comfortable to wear. And I think one of my most favorite lip colors, because I love to wear this with their blurring pillow blush in Copper Spice. This was my go-to combination for summertime. You got the earthy burnt terracotta cheeks and this earthy burnt terracotta lip. I didn't need anything else really. I just tossed on some brow gel, maybe a little bit of mascara, and those products just brought it all home with me with such little effort. It was an outstanding pair, and I had to include it in this list because immediately when I applied Rewind, I was like, oh, this is pretty. And we are now to the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. We'll first start off with her Rouge experience in Ray that was recently released with her summer collection, I think back in June, a muted mauve chocolate brown. Now the full component, as you saw in the footage, retails for $59, but just the refill retails for $30. And Ray is currently sold out. I am so sorry, but I liken the color to ABH's Cool Brown in the Lip Velvet because it does have a little bit of that grungy element, which Lisa deliberately wanted to include in the shade, as she had said that with this lip release was inspired by the 90s. So this color, the mauve chocolate brown, is just gorgeous and can be worn alone or with a minimal eye look, as I did here for the video. Outstanding color. But the texture, if you have not experienced Lisa's Rouge Experience lipsticks, is just a marvelous wear because it's not a satin, or I guess it is a satin. Let me pull up the product description. A lightweight cream lipstick. So it is a satin, but it does have like this blurring quality about it that I would still categorize it as a hybrid lip product. It is just incredibly lightweight for the amount of color you get, and the ease of application is just unparalleled. I think the Rouge Experience lipstick is by far one of the most best developed lipsticks in the market at the moment. And the fact that it's refillable, the fact that you have this beautiful case, you could get it engraved, there's a lot going on. And Ray is just an outstanding color, and I think definitely had to be included in my top brown picks, especially for autumn. And lastly, from Lisa, we have the luxuriously Lucent lipstick in Meet Me in Berlin, a rich tan brown with a balance of warmth. It retails for $36. And in contrast to the Rouge Experience, the luxuriously Lucent is a buildable balmy lip color. So again, more of a hybrid product. more than a balm, but it has a lovely sheer wash of color that you can build but feels comfortable to wear and leaves the lips looking soft. And Meet Me Berlin is a classic shade. I had to include it. And much like how I consider Soshe's Ceramide Lip Silk, that easygoing delivery of color, that you like the browns but you don't want it to be intense, you just want more like a tint experience of the brown. And you can't go wrong with Meet Me in Berlin. Easy to apply, creamy, silky, but just right in terms of that beautiful sheer wash of color. And we have Addiction Tokyo, the lipstick Extreme Shine in 017 soft warm brown with a glossy luminous finish. Retails for $30. They're currently running their bye-bye US sale, 30%, 35% off site wide. So if you want to grab some Addiction Tokyo from the US side before it closes, I would make sure you go. I don't have an affiliate link, unfortunately, because they kept denying me. They kept denying me the affiliation. So I'll just plop down the retail site so you could, you know, grab whatever you're interested in. But this is like a shiny hybrid lipstick glossy type of a product, but I had to include it because it's gorgeous. It's your straightforward brown shade, but a little bit of a glossier shine than you would get from the Lisa Luxuriously Lucent, even the Soshe. I would think, or I do think, the Addiction Tokyo has a little bit of a tighter grip. It sits right under Suqq's Moisture Glaze for me in terms of feel on the lip. And it starts off with that high shine effect, but it gives more of like a sheer wash of color. It can be built, however, if you run it across the lips a few times, you could get really nice color delivery, but maybe once or twice you get more of like that sheer wash of color. That's just gorgeous. And again, easy to wear. It doesn't require so much bandwidth. You don't have to, you know, worry about staying within the lines. You can maneuver comfortably over the lip without messing up. And the color you get and the finish, you can't beat it. And now we started the Suqqu Brigade. Okay, the sheer matte lipstick in 104, currently on sale on Cult Beauty for $36.43. This was an older formula that released, I think, 2 years ago, and 104 specifically is a soft diffuse matte neutral brown, but you can see here on the footage that is not giving sheer matte. It's giving powwow color. So I think this color specifically is unique, where it is high coverage. It's high coverage, but you see it's a true neutral brown. It doesn't have mauve in it. It doesn't have red in it. It sits right there, and it is bold. It is bold, and it has a little bit of sheen. Is interesting. The sheer matte is supposed to be more of a matte. It's not matte like the ABH Lip Velvet. It's not completely satin either. It does have a little bit of a sheen left behind after applying, but this color, okay? Again, 104. If you are interested, I would give a look. And now we have my recently added YSL Loveshine lipstick in 207 Scenic Brown, a sheer warm caramel brown with a glossy balmy finish. I would say is more of like a neutral brown. This retails for $40. I have to say, out of all these hybrid glossy shiny lipstick formulas that I've tried in the last few months, I like the YSL, but I wouldn't buy another color with this formula, I should say, because I much prefer Dior's Attic lipstick formula, Suqq's Moisture Glaze formula, Lisa's Luxuriously Lucent formula, Soshe's Ceramide Lip Silk formula. The YSL's okay. It's so slippy that I feel the wear just starts immediately. Like, you get that shine, you get the color, and you're like, why are you having it on this list? You don't sound like you like it so much. I love the color. That's why. Scenic Brown 207, I had to include it on the list, okay, just by default. And not that the consistency is bad. I think it's wonderful. It's silky, it's soft. Definitely the slippiest out of all the textures I presented so far. I think out of the entire list, even though we're not done with it, it has a nice texture to it. I just think the Dior Attic lasts longer. The Suqqu Moisture Glaze lasts longer, but it is nice. It's nice to wear. So if you do like these hybrid formulas and you don't mind reapplying the lipstick a little more than what you're used to, then you could give the Loveshine a shot. But out of all, again, the glossy lipsticks I've tried and applied and worn, it's not at the top of the list for me. But 207 Scenic Brown is a pretty shade. More Suqqu, and I arranged this with price. So the Suqqu Vibrant Rich Lipstick, which we have now on footage, $119, ranges from like $42 depending. A creamy deep neutral brown, and this is like a shiny satin, color rich, bold on the delivery. You can't go wrong with the shade. I mean, come on. This is definitely more of like the red brown, as you could probably detect. It's not neutral brown like I would argue for the Suqqu Sheer Matte in 104. That's more of like a dead on neutral brown, dark brown in my opinion. The Vibrant Rich, a little more red brown, but you can see overall brown. Just a lovely shade for autumn. Okay, I mean, I could plop this on right now and the look will be maintained. In terms of the Suqqu Vibrant Rich, and this is for all Suqqu lipsticks, the advantage they have over other luxury lip products is the fact that they are fragrance free. They don't smell like anything. They don't taste like anything, which is probably more preferred for someone who is fragrance averse. But Suqqu is a pain to buy because they're only available overseas and you have to just consider the shipping and all that. So if it's worth the purchase, maybe find another bud who wants to order Suqqu so you can have like a community shipping type of a contribution going on. But the Vibrant Rich is an outstanding formula. I think it's Suqq's designated satin lipstick, but just creamy and silky on the feel and on the application, and the color delivery, top notch. And now we have arrived to what might be, well, it is my most favorite lipstick formula. Now the Dior Addict is knocking on the door for that spot. It is, but what keeps the door closed is the fact that it has a little bit of a scent, a little bit of a fragrant element to it. But the Suqqu Moisture Glaze specifically in 06, we'll start off there. The Gray Mauve Brown, just again, that muted mauvey brown undertone. It's like in the same class as Lisa's Ray. Lisa's Ray is not going to give you the same shine, but it's going to give you more color, whereas the Suqqu Moisture Glaze in 06 is giving you more of that sheer wash of color with that high shine gloss. That outstandingly, Suqqu has managed to develop a high shine lip formula that does little to no feathering and stays on pretty well. Okay, figure that one out. And next we have 09, the Dark Espresso Brown with the same glossy finish. This is more of like a red brown, or actually, my correction, it should be like a brown red. So you might detect a little more of like that red influence in the undertone, which is beautiful, 100%. But again, the Suqqu Moisture Glaze is just easy to wear, it's easy to apply. You get that color delivery and it's buildable. So you could keep it at a sheer wash of color, or you could build it up to something moderate, and the shine, and again, the tones that Suqqu develops with the brown, that's why I had to include it on the list. I just think they're unique. And to have them delivered in this creamy, silky, shiny formula, forget it. And next, the recently added Dior Rouge on Stage in Fearless Brown, the medium deep neutral brown satin, $48. This was Dior's newest addition to their lipstick line. And I am just baffled how they managed to develop a formula that's glossy, that's satin, but long lasting. And I immediately recognized that when I had to like apply a bit of pressure to take this off. And I wore it for a few hours on my last trip, and it stayed after dinner. I'm sorry for the poor photo because the lighting was terrible and I didn't want to like blast my eyes with bright lighting just to get the photo because I was on my way to bed, okay? I had an early flight the next morning. A satin formula that has nice grip, that lasts well, that feels comfortable, is really remarkable, and I'm happy. I am thrilled with this new formula from Dior. It's creamy and easy to wear, and Fearless Brown. There's something about that shade that's just classic, sophisticated, that levels up the look. I mean, tenfold. Where you could have light eye makeup. I'm talking maybe just a diffused liner, maybe some mascara, maybe lashes, right? If you want to apply like maybe a Giorgio Armani eye tint just to kind of blur out the lid, fine. Put the Fearless Brown out, you're set. You are set. The elegance elevated. Again, it's a beautiful shade, gorgeous formula. You can't go wrong. I would say the description says neutral brown. I would argue it's like similar to the Suqqu Moisture Glaze 09. It's like a brown red. There's a little bit of red in there. Don't mind it. Don't mind it. I think it kind of adds a little vitality to the complexion as opposed to ABH's Cool Brown. Not that it drags me down. I don't want to imply that. It's more so it's going to give me a cooler element to my complexion. Same thing which you'll see in the Gucci that I have on this list, which I like to do sometimes. I like to play with the different undertones of brown. The Suqqu Sheer Matte in 104, how that was like that dead-on deep brown neutral, that definitely influenced my complexion to appear in a certain way. But Fearless Brown, it's dark, it's bold, but that little bit of red just adds a touch of vitality. Just a touch. It's almost like I'm wearing a bold red, so it has that effect, but that depth of color is still present and it just grounds everything down, if that makes any sense. Oh, it's just gorgeous. I'm so happy I have it. And next we have Gucci Rouge. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna learn how to pronounce this. Let me ask the internet first. The Gucci Rouge à Lèvres 123. Well, hold on. On the website now, 123 Auroral Amber. I have Mona Leslie Cameo. It's an older color, so I don't know, and that's what you see here. You see the Mona Leslie on. I don't know if the Auroral Amber replaced that or if that's an entirely different shade, but homage to the discontinued Mona Leslie Cameo. Talk about cool tone brown. More cool than the ABH, as you can see. But Gucci's matte formula, underrated. It is fantastic. It's smooth on the application. It feels soft. Color delivery high, and it's comfortable to wear in my opinion. But I am curious now to see if the 123 shade is the same as the one I have here. Completely different, but sign me up for a cool brown like that. That is a grungy moment, and oh, I can't even imagine just definitely pairing that with Prada Beauty Reveal foundation in my MN60, which is like a neutral undertone, but it definitely gives me like a cooler effect on the complexion. And with maybe Charlotte Tilbury's super neutral, ooh, that's a look. And lastly, I always meant to get a Christian Louboutin lipstick product because I was just enamored by these designs. The first time I saw these components, I was like, holy moly. But I got one of the lower priced ones. The Rouge Stiletto Glossy Shine lipstick retails for $65, so it's the most expensive lipstick I have on this list. And Cacao Temple 44-7S, a glossy deep cacao brown. And funny, when he saw the Christian Louboutin bag that Rima at Nordstrom was nice to give me because she was at the counter, and it's a whole thing, right, when they pack the stuff up. He thought I got red bottoms. I'm like, no, but I did buy a lipstick. And I was like, you want to see? He's like, sure. When he saw me with this on, he was like, wow, I know. This is definitely, again, a glossy lipstick. More color than the Moisture Glaze, more than Addiction Tokyo Lipstick Extreme Shine, but it doesn't last as long as Dior's Rouge on Stage. Rouge on Stage definitely has longer lasting power than the Rouge Stiletto Glossy Shine lipstick, but nevertheless, not too bad of a color delivery. You do have to run it over the lip just a few times to evenly distribute the pigment because you could run into just unevenness here. Because of the formula, it being glossy and such, it might not have the same fluidity as like more of a satin lipstick does. That's just what I found. Definitely doesn't last as long as the Rouge Dior, but I forgive it because I just adore the color. This is more on the brown red part of it. You see the difference it makes where you might have to reapply it just to get a more even coverage on the lip. And also avoid that, the smush side to side, the glide and smush, because that will move the pigment around. I would kind of do the pop so that you don't disturb the lay down of the color, and we'll get a more even distribution of the texture. But this is a pretty lipstick, and it's gonna be one of my go-tos for autumn, 100%, because you just can't deny. I'm gonna say it's a sexy shade. It's a sexy shade. Bay even said it himself when he could not. He was like, wow. I would wear a lip liner with this just so it doesn't feather as much. Something with glossy lipsticks, I found that a little reinforcement from a lip liner doesn't hurt. I don't think you need the same reinforcement with the Rouge Dior on stage, but nevertheless, I'm thrilled with this Louboutin lipstick. I'm happy. Listen, this is so outrageous, but again, I've always wanted one of their lipsticks because the components are just over the top. Very much an homage to the shoes. If you don't know, the Christian Louboutin red bottom shoes with the heels, the stiletto, right? And the cap here, stop it right now. They're not refillable, so you won't be able to take this part out, which is fine. Don't know if I would purchase another color because when I swatched all of them at the counter, I wasn't as wooed by the other shades as I am wooed by Cacao Tempo. Cacao Tempo, you gotta get. If you like brown lipsticks, but especially if you love glossy lipsticks, high shine glossy lipsticks, you might want to consider getting this one because the brown is just, it's rich, it's elegant, it's sophisticated. It's there. You're welcome. So that is it, family. My current favorite brown lipsticks for my collection in preparation for the autumn looks. I can't wait for the season to kick off because this is kind of what I've been gravitating towards. I've actually been leaning more away from the corals and the peaches. I know we're still in August, but I'm just craving earthier tones overall. The browns, the tans, the neutrals, even the mauves, right? I want the more mauves. So we'll see, right, what these holiday releases will bring and what more brown lipsticks will encounter. Yes, I already saw a few shades from the Louis Vuitton release. And I'm so mad that I think it's called Thunder something. I forgot what it was called. But just based off what I saw on the models, Lord help me. I plan on visiting the store on Friday because the online release launched today and most stuff is sold out. It's kind of crazy, but kind of not because it's Louis Vuitton. That's just the effect they have on the population. All that to say, however, right now in this moment, these are probably the browns that I will reach for in the season for these autumn looks that I'm feeling more confident wearing. I am in my lipstick era, and a product I didn't invest so much in because it didn't have a substantial shelf life like its powder counterparts, right? The blushes and the eyeshadows, they definitely go faster because of the oil content and whatever else is in there. But the effect a brown lipstick has on my complexion is profound and something I am now getting used to and relying on. Before I was a little apprehensive because if I put on this color, it looks bold, like where am I going, is intense for the day. Now I don't care. It was, I think, last Friday, the photo I had when I showed the YSL blush, the Make Me Blush in Hot Mauve. After working out, I just threw on Fearless Brown. I didn't have any mascara on. I didn't have any blush on. I just had a brow gel on. I was like, you know what? want to wear this color. This is what these lipsticks have done to me. I am just, again, I'm feeling more aligned with the shade, more comfortable wearing it, just more often. I don't care if it looks bold. Maybe it's because it's with these shinier finishes, but I would argue I wouldn't mind throwing on a cool brown on a regular day either. So again, you're going to see a lot more brown lipsticks, I think, from me. I would like to wear them more often, but I would love to know what your favorite brown lipsticks are, family. They can be from any brand, any price point, any finish, whatever, any undertone. I would love to know down below. And if you made it this far, please make sure you consider liking this video by clicking the thumbs up. It helps to let the YouTube algorithm know that I'm worth watching, and will also recommend my videos to other beauty enthusiasts like yourself to watch, and consider subscribing because there are more autumn beauty videos on the way, and you'll know when that upload drops, especially if you click that notification bell. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you again for the watch, and if it's your first time, thank you for giving me a chance. Maybe stay, peruse the channel some more. I'll definitely see you in this video down in the comments for this one, and on here again next time.